Originally, I wasn't going to make this video. I've got a lot of videos in the backlog right now that require my attention, and I didn't want to add more to my to-do list. Also, my audio in this room isn't great, and a number of other reasons, but I was opening the new Sonic Forms pack that I finally got my hands on, and unfortunately, I'm really disappointed. I've always had a problem with Jakks Pacific and their quality control, but it has absolutely reached a new apex here that I just cannot be quiet about. This video isn't going to be like my other reviews. It's not gonna be like those videos because I'm very mad and I'm not in funny mode zone. I bought two of them because I wanted to get one for my friend in Canada, and the problem just showed its face even worse with the quality control, and I am pretty ticked off about it. Originally I was not gonna make this video, but then I took out Supersonic and I could do this. This is insanity. This is absolutely unacceptable. This is ridiculous. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Like, there is nothing here. This head is the most flimsy thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. You've gotta be kidding me. Usually my problems with Jakks Pacific figurines are related to the paint jobs. The paint jobs on these particular figurines are rather crappy, and there's usually a bunch of really bad errors that detract from the figure. This Werehog in particular has a really bad mark on his eye, and his mouth paint job is just absolutely horrific. The tongue is in there, and it's just not painted right. The other eye, there's this weird texture to it because they didn't quite paint it properly like they did this eye, which is nice and glossy, but this eye is like bumpy and shitty, and on top of that you can see here that it's not even filling in the lines where the eye is supposed to be. His boots are scuffed up, there's a bunch of flecks of paint on the bottom of his shoes. The head is also way too flimsy, it just moves too quickly. I can Sculpting wise, it's as good as we're gonna get, but quality control wise, it's a fucking disaster. This isn't even the worst one I have. It's not as bad as the other Werehog I got from my friend in Canada. This bad boy has a different problem with his mouth. As you can see, they completely painted the teeth wrong, and that goes over his tongue, and it just looks fucking bad. His eye also has that bumpy texture, and it's painted even worse up here in this corner where it looks like the paint was like chipped. He's got splattered paint on his face, his eyeball is leaking out, and up here you can see where they didn't cover this with enough coat. His nails, they're not looking good. He needs a manicure real bad. There's some chips on there. The color doesn't go to the underneath of his fingernails. Like, these are small details, yes. People would consider them nitpicks, yes. But the thing is, when you're paying $30 for a bunch of toys, like, you want the toys to at least be painted to an acceptable degree. This type of shit with the chips and stuff, that's not acceptable. I know it's not acceptable because they did it right on this one. This guy's hand is totally fine, and the paint does go lower enough where you don't really notice that it's not on the absolute underneath of his hands. You don't notice this as much because these aren't chipped. That looks fine, that looks good. But when there's no quality control and this slips by, it just looks like absolute shit, especially with that mold line on there. It just looks fucking bad. This one doesn't have shoe scuffing, but he's got worse mispaints on his shoes. Over here is particularly bad. And yeah, it's like, I know how to fix this. I'm an artist. I paint miniatures, so I know that all I gotta do is take a sanding stick and I can fix that up real good. I can even paint it myself with my citadels and whatnot. But this isn't a model kit. I'm not buying it to paint it. I'm not buying it to fix errors like this. I'm buying it to put on my shelf and have it look cool, but when the face, it's the face that bothers me. When they can't get the face right, it's just, like, the sculpt is amazing, but this paint job on his mouth is just atrocious. God, look at that. That just looks like they threw the paint in there. The mouth line isn't even clean. What the fuck? The Sonics, the soap shoes that came in this pack, unfortunately have some major issues as well. This Sonic has a really bad marking on his chest, and I really can't quite tell if that's blue or black, if that's the tan being chipped away. I don't know, and I won't know until I start sanding at it or trying to fix it. And also, the mold lines on this, holy shit, are they bad. That is terrible. These are terrible. Worst of all is Sonic's ass is broken. His tail came like this. These are brand new. I just opened these, and I was in the process of opening my second Supersonic when I noticed that Sonic's fucking ass is broken. If you mush their asses together, you can see that his tail is much longer and it's supposed to go to that point. The quality of these guys is really bad too. You can shake them around and they just wobble all over the place. It's not great. It's really wobbly and really loose. It's not on there good, and it definitely doesn't want to hold. It's better than the other Supersonic I have, but it's not good. I got really lucky with the shoes on this one. The soap shoes are the whole reason why we're getting this figurine, so to have the soap shoes be scuffed and screwed up would be really, really upsetting. but thankfully they're not too bad. See, like, this is acceptable. The quality of these shoes is acceptable to me because it's like, while it's not absolutely 100% perfect, they are good enough for me to be confident putting it on a shelf or something. And if there's something like this, which is a really tiny paint mishap, I can just sand that off and it's fine. I don't mind this. This is fine. But when it's like this Sonic, I get really annoyed because you have things like chipped paint, scuffed paint up here. It just looks bad. And if I want this to be on display, I'm gonna have to do modifications to it, which is not what I want to do with fucking action figures. And it's not super bad on these shoes. Once again, like, I could sand this off, that's fine, and like, I can fix these things, but I shouldn't have to. That's the point. Oh my god, I just noticed that right now. Let's look at that. There and there. Paint bubbles. That's really bad. What really disappoints me with these soap shoe Sonics is that they feel so much cheaper. The head is not on there. The plastic feels glossier and cheaper. I've got this Sonic. This is from an older wave. There's like a gloss to these new Sonics that is not there on the old ones. These are a little bit more matted, and I kind of like how that looks. The new Sonics, they just looks cheap. It feels cheap. Sonic's head is supposed to be on there really firm. This old Sonic, he's really on there good. He's not moving around. This new Sonic, though, is just like, I can just flick him, and that's a problem on both of these. It's worse on this one. This is the figurine of the pack that just broke me and made me absolutely have to make a video because this head is absolutely unacceptable. I am not using any effort, and I can just absolutely just move this head around. This is just awful. This is terrible. Like, you just poke it, it's done. You think, though, with how many fucking Sonics they make every single wave, every wave having just a reprint of Sonic, you'd think that they'd eventually get good at making the fucking shoes have their paint within their lines or be accurate and not have this shit going on. Breasts. I'm also having problems here just, like, moving him around because if I want to pose him on my shelf or anything, he's just like, hey, stands, that's at least something. Never mind. At least with Supersonic, it's like he's pretty simple, so there's a lot of stuff that's really hard to screw up. But when it's the joints, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I could probably gonna have to put some clear coat on that and then put the head back on and see if that helps. But, I mean, I shouldn't have to do this. I shouldn't have to do tricks I literally have to do on model kits, on the fucking toys I buy off the fucking toy aisle shelf, you know? This ain't a model kit. Like, he looks good when I'm not, you know, trying to do anything with them. See, I want to be funny in these videos, but I can't do comedy when I'm genuinely mad. And you might be saying, like, oh, you're an old man. Why are you upset about the quality of action figures and toys? Bro, have you met a Sonic fan? We're passionate about shit, and that's okay. Oh, look at you. You care about things. That's what you sound like. Idiot. Oh, that arm. Woo, woo, woo. What the fuck? This is really like one of those toys where you gotta get it, put it on your shelf, and then never ever fucking touch it because it's gonna fucking explode. And this is what pisses me off about Jakks Pacific. It's like, these toys don't have to be so low quality. Well, this looks cool in my hands right now. It's like, the quality of actually holding this and moving it around and looking at it in real life is just shockingly disappointing, especially when compared to other Jakks Pacific figurines. Even in the same pack, it's no comparison. The Werehog is clearly made with just so much love, and he has fucking elbow joints and, like, really good stuff going on here. Even with his massive paint errors and mistakes, he still looks really good and has this presence to him on a shelf and, like, is a solid figurine. But these Sonics, it's like, I'm afraid I'm gonna break them by just doing anything with them, which sucks. Especially because we're finally getting Soap Shoe Sonic, and I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. Yeah, they might look cool if I pose them right, but like, oh my god, are you kidding me? This is unacceptable. It's just absolutely ridiculous. When I grab a Jakks Pacific action figure, I have no idea what I'm getting in for. I look like such an asshole in the store whenever I pick up one of these things, because I have to hold it and be like, is the paint good on this one? And meanwhile, it's like one of 2 existing characters in the store, because, Lord, they'll make a billion Sonic the Hedgehog figures, but if, God forbid, you want fucking Vector or Big the Cat or Chaos or Jet the Hawk or anybody who's actually cool, because those figurines sell out like nothing, and then you look at the shelves and it's just, oh, we've got Sonic and we've got Sonic and we've got Sonic. I have to sit there looking like an absolute asshole comparing Werehog mouths on an extremely limited figurine that everybody's going nuts to get right now. You know, I'm able to find 2 of them, which some people would kill for, and that's, I feel very grateful, but then I feel like like a fucking spoiled idiot because I look at them and I'm like, why can't they just fucking paint them? The point of this story is, and the point of this video is, that I'm very sad that the funny Werehog figurine that I finally got after many, many years of waiting for this thing is a little bit scuffed up. I would like if he was better, and that would make me very happy. Honestly, the Werehog is the least bad of the figurines. He's pretty good, and I'm really happy with him. But I mean, I did pay $30 for this entire box, and this entire box is Werehog and these other two guys, and the other two guys are just absolute nightmares. I didn't even do this. He just does this because his head is just a fucking... He does what he wants. I don't even want to swap the shoes. I know you can swap the shoes. I know I could take the soap shoes and put them on Supersonic. I was gonna do that. I was gonna have Supersonic with soap shoes, and I was gonna have him pose on my shelf, and he was gonna look awesome, and I was gonna be like, yay! Now I can't do that. Capitalism comes for us all, and they'll do whatever is cheapest and easiest available to them. As long as you keep buying product, they'll keep putting it on the shelves. I've seen the future! Now kiss. Now kiss. Get in there! Anyway, this has been my rant about Sonic the Hedgehog action figures and how I think their quality control is very bad and that they should maybe try a little bit harder, because if they did, I would be more happy to give them my money. And jokes aside, if they stick to a $15 price point and keep giving us shit like this, yeah, I'll pay for that. I'd gladly pay for a $15 Werehog that looks like as good as this and articulates as good as this and is just as good as this. I will pay for things if they are good. And I'm not looking for it to be fucking like perfect. Obviously there's gonna be mistakes on these things. It's just, I don't want it to be the current quality it is. Anyway, Sega, please remaster Sonic Unleashed. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.